bake community. But what we really want to do is kind of really wrap up where we're going from here. And I think the spreading the news with and helping folks develop their tools, helping really build the relationship, not only between labor and the Democrats, but labor and the progressive movement and the grassroots organizations that are around, which probably, will contain some union members. And so how do we strengthen labor and the unions as well as strengthen community? So build those relationships and of course, tap into the younger community, the younger generation, the millennials, the Gen Z folks, and have the conversations on the weekly basis, connect and use the tools that we have online. So thank you everyone for being here today. And I'm so excited to introduce and have Priya Vedula close us out. She was active with the statewide Women's Caucus or Young Voters Caucus, the California Young Dems. She was part of the Women's Caucus and a leader there, has been a member of the SBCYD and is now a med student in the area, and brings a perspective that is just really positive and energetic and amazing, but really has a heart for the community as well. So Priya, if you would take us away.
She's also a newlywed, so let's all congratulate her.
Oh yeah, she is also a newlywed, newly married, in this COVID, in this COVID socially distanced marriage ceremony. It was a beautiful. You could see the pictures were beautiful. So thank you, Priya.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm really excited to be here with everybody that's here. And I want to thank the Progressive Alliance of the IE, the Sierra Club, Catalina's List, and all the others who have helped organize this rather timely event. So we have spent the last 4 years fighting. We have been fighting for justice, for equity, for freedom. Our Black and Brown communities have been deprived of essential needs since the beginning of this nation. But we'd seen progress over time and we were aiming high. And then 2016 came in like a wrecking ball and threatened everything. We took decades of steps backwards when it came to the gains that we had made in environmental, health, economic equity, and educational policies. International students and undocumented students were fearing what the next day would look like under the reign of a moody tyrant on Twitter. And in the last year, we were faced with a deadly pandemic that has taken away millions of lives around the globe. It has displaced families and taken away the livelihood of so many people. And it's tried to force us into isolation and fear. And against the backdrop of that pandemic, we had the ruthless murders of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and thousands of others who have suffered from police brutality and violence every day right in our backyards. We also lost some of our greatest heroes like Kobe Bryant, Alex Trebek, Chadwick Boseman, RBG, and so many others. So it was a difficult fight, and we have been broken, and we have felt unheard, and we have felt helpless. But in the last 2 years, we have done the most miraculous things that we could never have imagined possible if it had not been for the last 2 years. The Great American Outdoors Act was passed last July, and it awarded public lands nearly $10 billion. As Bobby Joe and Ricardo had mentioned, industries are rapidly moving into the production of greener energy cars, such as electric vehicles. Natural gas consumption has actually displaced coal, which was very cool to hear. We spotted blue whales north of Antarctica once again. Cori Bush became the first Black woman to represent Missouri in Congress. We won the White House, the House, and the Senate. Sarah McBride became the first openly trans state senator in US history in Delaware. And on January 20th, President Joe Biden and our very first female Black and Indian American VP will be inaugurated. The presidential election turnout among young people between the ages of 18 and 29 has reached 52 to 55%. So youth voters turned out in large numbers across the country, and they were instrumental in propelling President Joe Biden and the first female Vice President Kamala Harris to victory, particularly in the battleground states. And then in the Inland Empire, we've had similar victories. Christy and Jocelyn Yao have become mayors. Mayor Yao is the youngest WOC mayor in the state of California. Council members Ben Reynoso and Kim Calvin took their seats on the dais in San Bernardino. Pavan Jindal was the youngest Indian American to ever become the council member in the IE. Supervisor Joe Baca Jr. became our Democratic supervisor. And the two leaders of our party, Riverside County and San Bernardino County, are led by Kristen Washington and Tisa Rodriguez, who are inspiring Black female leaders. We declared racism a public health crisis in our county, our school systems, and our city councils. Folks, we have made gains in the last year like no other before. And this is when we were tired, when the odds were against us, when we were running on no energy and no fuel. Now, in some ways, I think about this as something that was a little bit easy because we were united in opposing the insurrectionists, those who did not want a democracy that respects the humanity of Black and Brown and Indigenous people from all walks of life. So it was easy, and it has been a little bit easy for us to stand on the right side of history because that line is very, very red. So it's very easy to know where to stand. But now is the time that real progress needs to be made and can be made. And this is the true time that courage is going to be required, because it is going to be an uphill battle. And we do have a spectrum of ideas and ways to achieve the various outcomes we're going for. So the very first thing I'm going to say here with this new vision is that in order to truly build back better, as Joe Biden says, we need to ensure universal healthcare access through single payer in California and through Medicare for all in the United States of America. A universal healthcare system is going to be the investment that we need to address our social determinants of health. That is how we are going to address how a person's life expectancy is going to fare out. And so if we do not do these kinds of investments now, if we don't have this kind of energy now, it's going to be decades and decades of battle. And now is the time to do something like this. And so I know, Bobby Joe, you've talked about a lot of different coalitions working on this, and especially in California, if we can get California to move the needle on healthcare by going with single payer for every single payer system for the state of California, that is how we move the nation. And then I attended a really cool talk yesterday with SBCYD, and Delane Easton had reminded us that the founders of our nation, she said, although they had these wigs on and they looked like, 80-year-olds, they were 35, 40, some of them were teenagers. And it kind of reminded us, a lot of times as young people, a lot of people on the outside will say, like, you're the young people, you should be leading us someday, once you get, the knowledge and skills and things you need. And I'm just sitting here thinking, but we do have all this. I mean, this is how our country was founded, by youth energy, by new ideas, and they have to be included. And so, like I said, the youth have turned out, they've shown up for us to give the presidency to Democrats and most who are not in our age group so that they can make the decisions. And now we need to be involved because we have actually shown that we can do it. So engaging the youth, engaging different sectors like labor that we had talked about before is going to be very, very important in this momentum that we're building. So we need to work together, keep up the momentum. And then finally, the biggest thing of all is we have to hold people accountable. We all want good things, but sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes there are leaders that might seem representative and are not. And those kind of things are going to kill the movement. So the most important thing we can do as we're pushing these issues is to hold people accountable that aren't following these values, that have shown time and time again that they're willing to take money from the wrong places, that they're not going to stand up when the time comes. They're going to stay silent. We have to hold leaders accountable. So with that, I just feel that we're going to need to come together and establish common goals as we move forward. It's going to require meetings like this since we can't meet in person. And let's come up with a common goal and a common platform that we can all work on together, because we have shown when we have that common idea, that's how we make change. That's how we take back the White House. And now it's time to establish a universal healthcare system for everyone, and to achieve that healthcare equity, to achieve, to achieve that equity when it comes to income, to achieve social justice, to achieve environmental justice. It's going to have to come with that platform. So let's get together, keep having these meetings, keep up that momentum, hold people accountable, don't stay silent. The war is not over. The battle has just begun. Thank you so much.
So awesome. Thank you, Priya. Yes. Go ahead and drop in the chat some applause, some love for that message. It's us joining together. And I think that you just amplified, the discussions that we had all day long, all morning long, absolutely the Medicare for all. So this has been a powerful day, morning. I am so excited that we all came together. Again, thank you, Priya. Keep the momentum going. It's a new year and a new chance to make changes. And your recap and summary was just amazing. I actually am wearing my I Dissent earrings that I got for Christmas for representing the resistance and the voice for people that RBG put for so many years on the court. So thanks everyone for joining together again. And we started this idea with the question of, if voting is the first step and what comes next. I think we answered that question. What comes next is connecting to each other, turning knowledge into action, having those conversations. And I hope you'll join us on Monday. If you can drop in the chat, applause that if you're planning to be here on Monday with us every week, plug in when you can, hear what's happening, connect on our Progressive Alliance website. Again, as many community events as possible that I can find, I post up there. And we also are building a team to amplify that that voice with the call on Monday. Before our weekly call, we're doing an organizing call with a couple of tech savvy communication specialists who can help us really get the word out and get united and working together. So yay to everyone for being here. Thanks again. I think we accomplished our first goal, and now it is time to take a breath and shake off the despair and real anger that many of us might have felt these last few years. And let's celebrate those really great and pretty momentous gains we've made in our community. Priya mentioned some of them. Of course, another one that came up was Fazia Rizvi out in the Water District. That was tremendous that she won her seat. We are eons ahead of where we were when I first joined the campaign for a Department of Peace back in 2006. 15 years later, the IE landscape and the grassroots energy is completely fired up, and we can from here we can do even greater things. So that's all I've got to say. Does anybody have any last minute words or cheers to make? And we'll stop the live stream. And again, big thanks for all for trusting my call to an invitation to come together today and have this discussion and have this gathering.
Thank you, Bobby Joe. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Bobby Joe.
Everyone.
All right.
Great job. Thanks, Bobby.
All right. We hope see you guys on Monday. Hopefully, see everyone on Monday.
Hi, everyone. Great words, Priya.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Bobby Joe.
Awesome. No, thank you. I know you were coming from another event, so I appreciate you hopping on.
All right. Ciao, folks, and stay amazing.
All right. Awesome. Awesome. And thanks to the new folks who've never participated or been here before. We welcome you. Welcome to the community. Welcome to our work together. And this is going to be great.